Hi, girlies. Welcome to Book Please Podcast. It's Alina here.
Hey guys, it's Amanda.
How are you doing, my queen?
Good. I love me. 4th of July is coming up.
Yes.
Weekend.
Yes.
Can't wait.
Can't wait. We had ourselves a pool day.
We
We did
did.
a 4th of July pregame.
Oh, so much fun.
We deserved it.
I know. I'm looking and I'm like, we sat out a lot and we got like no color. Well, maybe I got no color.
Yeah. Well, it was like on and off rain, but like, of course, my doggy Cash joined us in the water. It was
Yep.
quite the time.
I had fun.
Yes. Today, I'm thankful for coffee. It's one of those days for me. Don't you feel like, I need coffee to do my job? Don't you think like a job should let you expense? Like I should be able to expense my Starbucks.
Well, I feel like coffee is like it's like having a drug problem. It's addictive. So I'm the worst
The
person to
attack.
ask. I know.
I
I don't
was
drink
never
coffee.
a coffee person. Yeah, but you also think I drink like 30 coffees a day. I
You
drink
have at least one. Oh, well, yeah. See,
I
I
drink
don't.
one.
That's normal though.
And
Some
then if-
people need like 3, 4.
If it's an off day, like a weekend, maybe I'll have half.
okay.
Yeah, so I'm
Yeah.
not like that, but I need it to work. So I just feel like it should be standard. Like if I technically, girl math edition, expensed my Starbucks, it would be like I would get a raise.
Well, I do think that you should be able to expense coffee just because if you went into an office,
Right.
they'd give you coffee
Correct.
for free.
And I can't do my job without it. It's a requirement of the role. You know what I mean? And you know what else I feel like I can't live without, but is like a silly necessity? A GPS. That's my other thing.
Girl, you need a GPS. I've never known anyone that needed a GPS as bad as you did.
It's so bad.
like, what'd you do back then with like maps when you had to like?
I actually did those things. I did them all. I printed out MapQuest. I had the little Garmin. I did all the things back in the day.
Yeah, I'm the same with you. I'm not like a direction girly. Like, if you tell me northwest of southeast, I'm like, no. Drop a
Don't do
pin.
that.
Yeah.
Somebody did that to me once when I was trying to get to the like emergency
yeah.
animal center. And she was like, take the bridge to Narnia, go to the Eastern Star, like follow the north. And I was like, bitch, this is an emergency situation. I don't know east from west right now. And like maybe I know it on a good day, but
Yeah.
not when I'm like rushing my dog who ripped his stitches out to an emergency vet center, like an animal hospital. You can't be telling me go to the east.
No, I get
I don't
that.
know where I
It
am.
depends where your mind is too. Like, I feel like we know, okay, like north of us is like West Palm.
Right.
South is Miami.
Of
West
course
is
I
like
know this.
Davie, you know,
Yes,
Fort
and I know
Lauderdale.
where the beach is. I
Yes,
get
those
that.
are the only
The
directions
beach
I
is
know.
on the east. Like, I
Yes,
know
those are basics,
that.
yeah.
But like, if you put me on a random street and I'm like, hey, I don't see your building, that's a big problem for me.
Yeah, I need to be like, are you by a subway? Are you across from it? Like, I need,
Yeah. But like, disclaimer, I'm good at other things. It's just this I can't sit here and say that I'm good at. And
I would
that's-
take
we
that
all
flaw.
we all have flaws. Like, you know how some people are like I need directions. I'll never be driving and be like, oh, I can cut through here and I'll get there. People have that sense.
Yes.
I don't. But I have like, if I'm cooking, I can eyeball things and like figure it out and whatever. Some people are like recipe people where they're like, if I don't measure this exactly, like it's not going to be good or I don't know what I'm doing. I'm not like that.
I can make you feel better.
Okay.
I'm going to be so vulnerable right now. No one come at me. I know
Okay.
I'm special with this. So I have a thing for mixing up sayings. Like,
yes, you do.
It's bad.
Yes,
like,
you do.
I always thought the saying was hold down the fork.
Yes.
And then like my coworker, right, she's like, it's fort. And I'm like, fork just sounded
Yes,
right. So that's what I
yes.
was saying. I'm so bad. Like people have to correct me all that. I feel like you've definitely done it with me. You're
You-
like, no, you meant this.
Yes, you'll do like what incarnation, which is a flower.
yes,
so,
yes,
but
yes.
it's what
Turn it.
incarnation.
Yeah, I'm bad.
You know, those kinds of cutesy little things that.
And I feel like
you
it makes me
you.
sound stupid. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe. But like if that's my flaw, I'll take it.
Yeah. It's okay. We can do other things. We're all good here. We can read, guys.
Barely. I'm an
Stop.
audio girl.
I'm dead. I'm dead. No, don't tell him. No, but you read, so it's fine.
Yes, it depends on the book too. Like if it's a huge book we're reading, I have to do audio.
Yeah.
But like right now, the book we're reading now, I'm reading it.
Yeah.
So it's good.
Great.
I'm
We're
educated.
excelling.
She got a degree.
She has a degree. We both have degrees. We're educated women. You know, I've seen those podcasts that make me vomit that are like so discriminating to women. I won't even give them clout.
Oh, I know
And
exactly
they
what
sit
you're
and
talking
they ask the women, like, what's your highest level of education? It makes me like rage from within.
But I feel like the girls, no offense, that they are bringing on, I'm just like, like name 3 countries and they like
Yeah.
can't. I'm just
yeah.
like, I want to shake you.
But some of them, they're so derogatory. Like the girl will be like, "Oh, I got this amazing opportunity my senior year of college." So like I dropped out my senior year of college, but I was like whatever major. And they're like, "We said highest degree completed, so high school." And they'll just shut them down.
They're
And I'm
so
like,
nasty.
I just
and then when they ask them to rate themselves, if you're confident,
I want to bust in there with the police, like we're shutting you the fuck down. OMG. Anyways. On to more somber days. I spent my evening and trapped my boyfriend into it as well, crying to the Celine Dion documentary.
I thought about watching it every time I saw it pop up, but I was like, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
I'm not a documentary girl, I would say. So that's probably why I don't.
I love them. I'm surprised because I really love the crime ones. Don't you like those?
I feel like Facebook, like video, gives me like a synopsis of all these crimes that I don't need to go watch. Exactly. I don't need to watch the whole thing because I already know what happens, who killed who.
No, I have to be in the mood for a documentary, but I watched it. Celine Dion, icon, legend. She has stiff person syndrome. I think it just puts into perspective, like when you see somebody who's such a powerhouse, so incredible at their craft, like beyond measure, like a superstar, the true meaning of the word. And you see her like, and we've never seen, we've been hearing over the past very few years that she was diagnosed, but putting a picture to her suffering, she like does drills with her kids, like if she gets like locked up, like meaning her body.
Yeah.
And just watching her have an episode and like wailing, but she can't move. It was really hard to watch. And then she's so determined to get back on the stage. And she's like, if I can't, run, I'll walk. If I can't walk, I'll crawl. Like she is just so determined. And there was one scene where like she had a really bad episode, like with all her doctors there, and they're like calming her down. And they're like, your whole team is here. You're going to be okay. This, that. And she had just overexerted herself with the rehab and also was doing a lot of singing. And she's so determined to get back to the stage. And after all that, like if that were me, I'd be like, I need to go to bed. I need to cry. I need whatever. I need my blankies. She was like, and the doctor was looking at her and he knows her and he was like, you need like a finale song, don't you? And she's like, I do. So like they played music on her phone. And after that whole thing, and it was really gruesome, like tough to watch, like so heavy on my heart. And she just like belted out with it. And I was like, it was so touching. Just the determination. It was beautiful.
See, for me, like, she's like such an icon that I would be like you. I'd be in my feelings watching it, crying. Like, I just want to picture her like the best she is. I know she's only human, but I just don't want to look at her any different, even though I know what she's going through. I feel like that with everyone. Like Whitney Houston, I won't watch those documentaries either because I don't want to see the sad parts. I don't want to make myself cry.
I know. It's really, and I feel like when you see things like that, you just never know because they play so many flashbacks and you're just like, what didn't, like it really, of course, Celine Dion, but when you see these performances and like how electric and insane and talented she was, you just never know what's around the corner for you. I swear I'm like one of those people that like tries to be so very grateful. Like even if I'm going for a run and I want to stop, like in my head, I'm repeating to myself, like people wish they could run, like run for those people. Like those are the things that move me to keep going. Like, and sometimes it's like sad because you just want to be like lazy or dramatic and that's okay too. But sometimes I swear this fuels me. Like I'll go to those extremes in my head and tell myself these things.
Yeah, and all these people that are famous that have issues, like they have all the resources and they're normal just like anyone else.
Yeah.
People that have like lupus or when Selena Gomez, needed surgery and someone had to donate like an organ, like that's just it. They're so human.
That's what makes it so crazy too, because it can happen to anyone. No matter what. And just seeing, Celine go through this, such an icon. It's very sad,
but she's strong. Obviously,
she is amazing. She is. I mean, I highly recommend it. But yes, like you need to be prepared to cry.
Have you ever seen How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days?
Yes.
When she takes him to a Celine Dion concert and he thought he was going to a basketball game.
Oh my god.
And then like walking out crying.
Oh my God. It's true, but this is like, if it's not that it's I mean, it's just devastating. It's devastating. But yeah, shout out to Celine. You're an absolute queen and icon. Actually, my favorite quote, I'll leave it on a high note. She said something, I don't know if you've seen, because this clip has kind of gone viral on social media too. She was like, if a woman loves a pair of shoes, she will make them fit. She's like, I don't
Corns
care.
and all.
She goes, I walk into a store and they say, what size are you? She said, no. I say, what size do you have? She goes, give me a 6 to a 10. She's like, beautiful. I'll make it work. She's like,
I'm all about my comfort. I'm sorry, Celine.
So funny. She's like, I will have my toes crunched up like you wouldn't believe, or my toes so spread out to hold on to the shoe, like whatever it is, I'm doing it. And I was like, that is, do you know my first word? My first word was not mom or dad. It was the Greek word for shoe, because I saw these shoes in a store and I said the Greek word for shoe. Shoe was my first word.
I'm looking up her toes now because I'm curious what they
Don't
look
look at her toes.
I'm curious now.
Why? Because you got to picture them spreading and crunching. Like, she's got a considerable sized foot. I saw the foot.
Fine, I'll leave her alone. But now I'm like, damn, you make it any shape.
Make it all work. This is a
disclosure. Her toes look fine.
Yeah. They look completely fine. For a second. But I'm saying she doesn't have like this tiny foot where she can just, whatever, get into them. Yeah. Like, she's got a normal sized foot. And a big, big heart.
We got low feet.
Yes, we do, for sure. Okay, let's move on. And I've been trying very hard to avoid this subject at all costs. I was hoping that you wouldn't. Talking about. I know. I was really hoping like I could dip and dodge and that you wouldn't see it, because normally like certain entertainment stuff, like that's my area of expertise.
And
so,
you usually fill me in.
So I'll be like, this happened, that happened. So I let this one go. And what happened? You found it.
I know. And then I was just like, shaking my head, Ariana Grande, and you're like, no, I know what you're talking about.
This bitch found it. I want to cry because I love her. Disclaimer, like, Ariana, you are a queen. I love you. I don't care. Like, I believe you. I love her. So that's all I'm going to say.
Jeffery Dahmer loving it all.
She was in a podcast interview on Podcrush. She just did her music video with, what's that guy's name from You? I should know his name, but he's the host of Podcrushed. I think his name is like Dan.
It's funny because I'm like Dan. I'm like, oh, is that his name in Gossip Girl?
Oh, maybe that's why. Oh my God, maybe that's why.
No, you could be right. Maybe it's not Dan, but I
can't even type. Like, I'm trying to type so fast. I'm making all these typos. I'm trying to be slick with it so I could quickly look it up.
I got you.
I'll type in You actor.
I was just gonna do that.
Okay, his name is Penn Badgley, obviously.
My next guest's going to be Joan. I'm like, wait, that's the name in You.
Penn Badgley. So she went on his podcast and they have like a friendship. He just acted in her music video, The Boy Is Mine, like whatever. Clearly, like, she's going on his show now, doing him his little favor. And I think that she felt like she was amongst like good company where she could just talk openly. And she recounted a time when she was a kid and she was in an interview and they asked her like if she could have dinner with anyone, like living or dead, or somebody dead, I guess, who would it be? And she said that in that interview from when she was young, she said Jeffrey Dahmer, because she was into like crime documentaries. Let that stay buried. Quite literally. She was into like crime shows and she just would want to pick his brain, and it has gone viral in the worst way. Like, she's gotten some backlash. And
the families, I feel like don't get me wrong. Like, to be that sick, it's just like, how can someone be that sick? Like, I get like the fascination, but it's like, it's not a good. That's what that's my only thing to her. I get it. He's such like a weirdo that it's like crazy that someone can be like that.
Right.
So I get that aspect of it, but like, out of all people to pick to like,
but I think what it is like, this is because obviously it's not, even if you say that amongst your friends, like this is not the avenue to be like on a podcast and being like, I said this. I think what she meant was to like retell it in a funny way. Like, look what I said when I was younger. Haha. Because I don't think that she in her right mind, hopefully, would name that person now, like the person that she is as an adult. Yeah. But I think you need to have the sense to be like, wait, I can't just like laugh about my answer now in front of the public.
Yeah, she was young and dumb. Like, yeah. It was just distasteful, I would say, especially because it's been the show came out and like, the family already had to relive it. And so
one of the family members' victims like spoke out and was upset. And I was like, oh no, Ari girl. Like,
I know, it's sad.
It is sad. My boyfriend and I have this saying, and it's the shit that could never get out.
I was gonna say, think before you talk.
And we'll say something like still like whatever it is, like that you can't really, like you say amongst your friends or whatever, we're like, there's the shit that could never get out. Because you don't say, we
ain't gonna lie. We say stuff sometimes. We're like, gotta cut that out.
Every everybody,
Yes.
everybody. And we'll say it over nothing. Like you'll be like, oh, I'll slap her, but you don't mean it.
I'm
But
like,
then
oh my
we're
God,
like, now
abusive.
we have to cut it
Yeah,
out because
exactly.
somebody's going to say this.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be extra sensitive. But like she knows that. And I think like she had a moment where she felt comfortable amongst
Girl,
these
you better
people.
donate to the victims. You better do something to make up for that.
Yeah. I was like, she doesn't need this right now. She's just getting off of SpongeBob. Like we're just getting better. But Wicked looks amazing. So I cannot wait to see that. But, you know.
Boycotting. No, I'm kidding.
No, you're not. You're
kidding.
going. You told me.
No,
told me you
Wicked's
would
one of
watch
my
it.
favorites. Yeah.
Wow.
That's, you know, out of all like the Broadway shows, that one's like up there for me.
Yeah. So I still love you, Ari, but you know, not everyone's perfect, and I made mistakes too. So.
See, I feel like I don't really care for her as much as you do. So I'm like, are you fucked up?
Because you know what it is? Like every time, even if I send you something good about
but
her,
you're ride or die. I love it. You're like through thick
if
or
I
thin.
send you, yeah, that's right. I'm loyal. Okay. If I send you something about Ari or about Taylor, about things I like I already know the eye roll I'm gonna get, even if it's a good thing, and I'm like, oh my God, how cute is this? And you're like, bleh. And I'm like, this fucking bitch went and found this. She dug this up from the archives. Who showed it to her?
It was TMZ. I was literally and I was like, oh. I was like, oh. And I was like, I got to text Alina.
You know what sucked too? I saw the headline because you know how they tweak shit and they make it sound so crazy. So I was like, let me watch it first. Let me give her the benefit of the doubt.
I did the same just before I texted you. I was like, and then you said that. You're like, but did you watch? I'm like, girl, I was on that shit like right on right.
Yes. Yeah. It didn't save her.
Listen, we're not perfect. I
but
mean,
she was a kid when she said it. That's all I'll say. It wasn't her answer now, but she shouldn't have made a reference to what she had said back in the day.
I would be canceled. So I'm the queen of saying stupid shit.
We've already been canceled.
Like,
go to our TikTok.
Yeah.
Like it's just, you know, but that's okay. Like
when
the
we talk about
engagements,
children.
we love the engagements. Yeah, exactly. Bring them on. Okay. Now, our last order of business before we get to our book. Real Housewives of New Jersey. The iconic scene that it's, should I say RHONJ or should I say WWE? Because I'm not quite sure where to go.
It was some Zeus shit.
It was that
some
shit
baddies.
belonged on Zeus, Baddies West, Baddies East. So basically, Jennifer Aydin and Danielle, what is her last name? Cabral. How did I pull that one out?
I'm like, I only know first names. Jen Fessler.
Jennifer Aydin and Danielle got into it on RHONJ and they got physical and it was some shit. So basically they're getting into an argument and Jen pushes Danielle and Danielle responds with a drink to her head. And we asked everybody to, I got a lot of responses, I'm not going to lie to you.
And mine are all like what I expected.
Yeah, so let's just get this part out of the way. Team Danielle or Team Jen?
Everyone's Team Danielle.
Everyone is Team Danielle.
And you learn this as a kid. Don't put your hands on anyone if you don't want to be hit back.
Honestly.
Blank, blank, period.
Here's the thing. I put 3 options in the poll the version of the poll that I did. And it was Team Danielle, Team Jen, and then they're too grown to get physical. And you were like, you know what? I just want people to pick a side because everyone's going to say they're too grown to get physical, which is true. Like these women are what, in their 40? Well, Jen Aydin definitely is in her 40s. At least Danielle probably isn't, but they're grown ass women. They have kids. They're married, like, you know, and that seems like the obvious answer, but that did not win. Even on my poll, it was Team Danielle because you know why? She was provoked.
She was. I mean, yes, they were so close to each other's face. Like I would see red too. Like I see Jen's side to be like, get out of my space, but I would have backed up before I would have pushed.
So Jen literally pushed her and then Danielle just went boom with the drink on her head. And I mean, if somebody shoved me like that,
I see red.
Yeah.
I see red.
Exactly. And this girl was like, it's a threat. It's aggressive behavior. You're the aggressor and you deserved it. And everybody wanted to see her respond that way. Like, I'm sorry. You could just feel it. Like, go F yourself.
I mean, even the castmates were like, that's the last person you want to freaking put your hand on. Like,
I cannot believe that. And you know what? Over what? Can we stop bringing up hairdressers to create drama?
And gossiping? Like, oh, you told me this about. If you were a real BITCH, you would have said something on the phone then and there. If you had an issue with what I said about my hairdresser friend, you would have addressed it there.
And she's like making shit. She's pulling shit out of her ass. Like, I feel like, honestly, she has nothing really to say about Danielle, that she's like finding random hairdresser gossip
Such a hater.
just to find something to say. Danielle, her reaction of being so mad about it too was because she was baffled at what came out of Jen's mouth.
Yeah,
She
she's
was
fucking
like,
with her character.
she's like, okay, so there's something else that's bothering you. What is it? And when she heard it, it was like jaw to the floor. And I was the same way, because basically what she said was like that Jen had agreed to do a shoot for her hairdresser's like extension line or something like that. And she called Jen to give her a heads up, because Jen has her own deals. Like, they're women in the public. And she has, a hairdresser she's loyal to. And she's sitting here telling her like, hey, just so you know what you're getting yourself into, like, she's promoting this stuff. Like, you're doing this for free.
Yes.
And it's going to essentially be put out there. Like, you're modeling for this business. And I know you have your own things with your own hairdresser. So I'm just giving you the heads up. She spun it on her. Like, I don't like your character that you want to like crush your girl.
Well,
like
she's stealing from her own, like a charity, like the stuff she said.
Yeah,
is like
so twist. Like, and she took that was even a nice thing that she did for Jen, and a nice gesture for her to give her a heads up. And she took that and was like, "You're not loyal to your hairdresser. I don't like that character." First of all, I'm sure that's totally understandable. She's like, "I just want you to know what you're getting into. Maybe it'll save drama from when Jen gets on the set." And she's like, "Oh no, I'm not comfortable doing this." And then there's even more BS. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Like, because given the scenario that they're in, where they're these women in the public, like, putting your name on something is an endorsement. And if she works with people in the hair industry and her own people, she wants to give her a heads up like this. I'm just getting the facts straight. The fact that she brought this up to her, like, in front of everybody, like, this is why, like, it was supposed to be, it didn't give what you wanted it to give.
She's older than Danielle. Like, grow the fuck. That's my thing too. I was like, if Danielle came with the drama, like, she's young, dumb, get it. But literally, Jen is like, really? You have a whole family. You have a whole career. Like, worry about yourself.
And I have to say, I wasn't very like Team Danielle.
Same. First season, I thought she was very fake, very like extra, trying to be on a show. And this season, I like her this season.
I agree. Like, she was kind of insufferable to me in the beginning. It's like, she's an acquired taste. Like, it took a while. She was very out there. It almost felt a little too try hard. And then you see, and she made a comment too. And I actually really believe it, because she's like, you don't have what I have. Like, Danielle has this husband who's amazing, her kids, like her family, her support system, like, she's happy. She's like, bitch, what are you coming at me for? Like, she has no drama that you're going to the hairdresser shit. Aydin is miserable. Her husband doesn't even like her.
He was cheating on her.
He doesn't give a F. Like, he doesn't even come inside to like say hello,
check on her when she gets her ass like freaking handed to her.
The whole thing is like, you can see how miserable he is. Like, he's literally sitting there and he's just like, I'm just here like because I have to be. He does not. He's like really bad.
Yeah, and I don't like to talk about people's marriages, but like, I feel like Jen's just a hater. Like, mind your business, worry about yourself. She brought up unnecessary things. I felt bad for Danielle.
I love Teresa's kind of reaction to it all, though, because you would think like the way that Jen, Aydin, and Teresa are so close that like she would blindly be like, oh my God, like she really didn't. And she kind of followed Danielle out to check on her. And then even Jen was like, I don't know, did I push her? Shut the fuck up, bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You think she just came out of nowhere and freaking tossed it?
I was dead when she said that. She's like, I might have.
I know you didn't watch this week, but they talk about it. And Teresa's like, I'm friends with Danielle too. I'm going to go to like her event that she has coming up. And Jen was like, I'm hurt. Like, how dare she? Like, that girl threw a drink at my face and you're going to, go to her event? I'm like, what?
What? Roll the tapes, Jen. You shoved her. She physically put her hands on this woman.
Yeah.
My aunt was so funny.
She
responded, shout out DT, you know who you are. Athena's mom. Love her. She responded because when I was asking like for people to weigh in.
Yeah.
She goes, love the scene where Danielle called her a dirty MFer. Watched it 3 times. She deserved that. Can't stand Jen, Team Danielle all the way. I was
Danielle's clapbacks were good. When she went in on the husband, you're sleeping next to the devil.
Yeah. She was so funny because what she said is so true. Like, when Jen was like, oh, the hairdresser comment, which was so stupid. She looked at her in such disbelief. She goes, you dirty mother effer. Like, for real. Like, what are you even saying?
She's from Staten Island, right?
Yeah.
That came out of her real quick.
Yeah. She was like, you. And then she's like, come on. And her husband's like, we're going.
Oh, her husband was great. He got between it. He was like, babe, let's go. Like, he was good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I love the drama.
Love the drama.
Not in my life, honey.
I know. Exactly. Love to watch the drama. Yes. from the couch. That's it.
And comment on it.
Yes.
I went quickly to the comment section to see whose side people were on.
Oh my God, everyone. Nobody. I'm telling you, not even people voted like neither for me. They were all Team Danielle. Like, I think it was like a very small percentage.
Jen's comments where people were like, you deserve that shit.
Yeah. It's like, we've been waiting for this. She really is wild and crazy. Like, it's to a whole other degree. She's got evil in her for sure.
And which is funny because her mom does all that, like, get rid of evil shit, like the super. And I'm like,
her daughter about to disappear. So,
we're kidding.
She's like, oh, Jen? Jenny. I can't.
Oh, gosh. Anywho's.
Well, we'll see what happens next week if she's on the show. Let's get into our book. Let's get into, something serious to show that we have a brain and we can move past the trash. We read Pretty Girls by Karin Slaughter. We read chapters 1 through 4 this week.
I just want to know if that's her real name. Like, is that like her? That's not her writer name?
Okay. Are you a thriller, like horror, crime, whatever writer, and your last name is Slaughter? That is definitely a bit.
Maybe it was like
it's a pen name.
She was born to like
do
thriller.
No, I need to know because I am sorry. That's the first thing I thought of when I saw this book. I'm like, you wrote a thriller book.
And I'm happy her name is spelled different than like Karen, because then I'm like, that's like extreme. Not only do you have like a name that a lot of people don't like, when it comes to being a Karen, but
I mean, your book is about murders and kidnappings. Can I just look this up? Because
I know, I'm so curious.
There's no way.
Even if it is like a name she chose, I think it's great.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Ugh.
Karin Slaughter real name is like a suggested search on Google, by the way.
Oh, is it?
Shut the fuck up.
What is it?
She grew up in a small town outside Atlanta. Yes, her real name is Slaughter. And as a child, she was so beset by allergies that she could barely go outside. I was even allergic to the sun and to sun cream.
Oh, wow.
Oh, well, that's weird.
So she had nothing else to do but chill at home and write
I cannot believe her real last name is Slaughter.
I know.
Destined. It was destiny, Miss Karin. You're a queen.
Yep.
Yeah, and I wonder, like, if you get married, you can't change that shit. Like,
I wouldn't want
she's
to.
married and she didn't
my
change
last name.
Yeah, that's right. We're the Slaughters now. We're the Slaughters. I'm dead. Okay, let's.
Well, so far, I feel like this book that we're reading is living up to like her name. I like it so far, but it's been a while since we read a thriller, so I'm like all about it.
It was very refreshing. I was really ready to get into a thriller and switch shit up. Mm-hmm. Definitely very excited about it. In the beginning, I will say, I was kind of like, oh no, we're doing this like different. Each chapter is like a totally different cast of like people, and I'm trying to figure out who's who. So in the beginning, I was like, okay, we have Claire and Scott. Okay, we have Lydia and Dio. Okay, we have the dad. And I'm like, overwhelmed. But what I was happy about was it quickly closed the loop. Yep. So we got the connections by chapter 4. So like, I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, because the whole time I'm reading, I'm like, okay, so they have to be related.
Yeah.
Once Lydia heard that.
Yeah.
What the heck is his name?
Well, I don't know who you're talking
about.
Paul.
Once she heard Paul died,
I
was like, okay, so she knew him. So it all ties. So I was happy, like you said. Like in the beginning, I was just like, some writers have that style where they do different people's perspectives, and I'm usually like here for it as long as it's not too much going on.
Right. It was a good amount, and it wrapped it up early. And I didn't expect them to all be sisters, including the father who's writing about the daughter
that's missing.
It was their other sister. So I was like, wow, great. I love the connection, because I was just thinking like, oh, Lydia slept with Paul once or something like that. Not that. Or I even was thinking at one point maybe Paul is Dee's dad.
You know no, I mean? I feel like I believed her when she was saying like he died of this, because then we find out she had a drug
problem. Before that. Yeah.
Oh.
I was trying to put things together, and then we realized the whole story.
See, I thought Paul, like, because I knew he wasn't going to be good. Like, I felt like he was too good to be true. I was like, he's either going to be like out there like killing and raping people, or like something like not perfect about him. And I thought maybe he attempted to take her and like torture her, and then she got away.
Yeah.
So that's what I was thinking at first. And then when it all tied in, I was like, oh.
I was also trying to figure out like, what did Claire go to jail for? They said disorderly conduct.
Oh, I think she went off on a mom. I'm assuming she slept with someone's boyfriend or husband.
Yeah.
They found out and they got into a little bicker.
She loves to sleep around.
Yeah, apparently. She's like, yeah, I'm like the quiet girl that like sleeps with everyone's
boyfriend. She slept with her husband's partner.
Yeah.
I was like,
And
honey,
he must
boo-boo
know.
child, you
Or
slept.
must have known.
Yeah.
Because we find out he's a little nasty.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk about that footage that we find.
Do you think it's him in it?
Oh, wow.
That's my question. Because she didn't really say he had like a mask on. So I'm like,
oh my God. I think you just solved it.
It has to be.
Oh my God. I was like, is he reenacting this shit? Like, obviously, that's like what he pulled her into the alley for and all that. So, like, I thought it was like some fetish shit. And then I was like, I wouldn't even be surprised if he hired someone to like kidnap her, but it went wrong. And then he ended up being killed because at the end, like when he's getting away with her, then Paul goes up to charge at the man. So I was like, did you have like a second thought or something? And then the guy like sliced him.
I think for sure the snake guy is going to be involved somehow.
5,000%.
I think because she's such a ho-ho that we know about, I think she messed with either the wrong person and some girl was like, you know what? I'm going to hire someone because the guy tried to take advantage of her. Like we find that out when he tried to drag her. So I'm thinking someone wanted revenge and then it went south. That's where my head is with that whole situation.
Yeah, I think Paul is definitely involved.
Imagine it was Lydia. No, she wouldn't do that to her sister. But I mean, I think if she was going to have anything to do with Paul being dead, we know she doesn't like him.
The truth is, like, it could be anybody.
I know. It's just so hard.
You don't ever want to guess too obvious. But are you like, so before we like fully go into this, like, are we liking this book? Are we interested in this book? Are we?
I mean, I want to know how it unfolds. I want to know if Paul was like this serial killer. You know, I want to know if Paul took their sister that went missing, and now there's another girl missing. Yes. So I'm like, who? We're gonna find out who's taking these girls. Yeah, like that's obvious. I think their sister is dead. Yeah, I don't think she's gonna be found alive.
I believe that she's alive.
Oh, you do?
I think she's alive. I think Paul has something to do with it. I think he was in on something with the snake guy, and something in their plan went wrong.
Do you think the partner's part of it? Because he was asking for files of work.
Yes,
and that's where she went in and saw the videos.
If Paul and Adam do business together, there's something suspicious that they're both doing.
Maybe he wants to be with Claire, so he hired this guy to take her.
Wow, that's actually a great call. That's a great call.
Wouldn't that be crazy?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised because it's like you're taking Paul out of the equation. But I don't think that footage was like, I guess now that we're like talking through it, I didn't think of it as like, this is porn to him.
It was murder. Yeah. I mean, well, I think he's sick and he gets off
I think he got off on it, but I think he was like watching it for some other reason and then I don't know.
I think he's in it. I think he's the one in it.
That's such a great call. I think you're right.
Because think about it. Even like his house and stuff, he's an architect. So he knows how to hide a room in his own place if he wanted to.
And a call out here was like everyone was surprised, including because there was a burglary that happened that they're saying, oh, this isn't even connected. And the police, there was a part where they pointed out that like backs up your point that the security system was not in the house or like it was separated and it was where all his stuff was. And they were like, that's really weird that it's like not in the main area of the house and this and that. And they were all confused by it. So that actually makes a lot of sense.
And my thing too is when she had his passwords to things, like he wasn't hiding anything. Like, I don't know if she trusted him enough not to snoop. I'm starting to think maybe she knew. Like, I feel like she was cheating, doing her own thing. He was probably a pig and she knew it. And I don't know. I feel like this is kind of reminds me of a book that I read, Perfect Marriage, where like we think the wife has no idea. Then we find out she was the one that like did it all. So, I just gave away that book. I'm sorry. But spoiler. But I think it may be similar to that. Like we think Claire's innocent, but then like watch last chapter, that bitch is, she got her husband killed. She did it all. Yeah. That'd be great. She does believe her sister that he tried to rape her. And she's like, you know what, let's take this man out.
I mean, I guess I
can't go down a rabbit hole. You know, if I start guessing.
I know, but you're good at it. Like even that thought about the mask, I didn't have it. And I fully believe that now. And I think like the separate security system is that there was that for a reason. Yes. That was pointed out. Like these lines are always intentional in thrillers and you go back to them and you're like, okay, this is an Easter egg.
Foreshadowing.
Yeah. So for sure. And the burglary too, like
I think what were they looking
related because they were looking for some shit that was not an object like,
you know, Tom,
like money.
Maybe he hired them because him and his like I feel like there's a movie that's similar like this where like two best friends, like
they
one's a
probably
cop
wanted footage
and they like go and
Footage or files.
Yeah.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
it's
guess
Tom.
that. I don't think it was like, oh, we came here for jewelry.
Yeah, they would have went into the garage and took the cars.
Yeah, totally. Because all that shit was there. We're doing great.
So many questions, but it's so good so far. Everything tied in. We know they're all sisters.
Yeah, I loved that. It wasn't just Claire and Lydia that were sisters. It was also Julia.
Which makes me so sad because I'm like, they had a sister that went missing. The family
and that's why
torn
they're
apart.
So panicked about this other girl who's like missing all of a sudden now.
And the
it's
mom's
like a
following along. Yeah.
But it's all connected. Like, I think it's
be.
all the same person. And, you know, I guess we'll see.
And it has to be someone they know. We know the dad passed away. He's no longer in the picture.
Yeah.
The mom is close to Claire,
well,
but none of the others.
The dad killed himself.
Yeah, it was hard on him.
It was really sad. He was really believing it. And he held on to hope till the last minute. And then he said too, like that being the veterinary profession, like a lot of them are like in that. And Dee said now she wants to do that. One of them is a groomer, or Lydia's a groomer. So they're all kind of in that sphere, which I love. But he had said when he saw like this battered animal, it like woke him up to be like, wait, this is how cruel people really are. Like, look at the condition of this dog. I couldn't even read that. That was the first chapter. For me, you know how hard that was. I was like, if you know, if something happens to a person in a book or a movie, okay. If something happens to an animal, I can't.
I cried when Paul was stabbed and like she was by his. I mean, now that I know he's kind of like a-hole,
now that I
I'm
know
like,
we don't
what
like
a waste
him.
of tears.
Yeah,
because I'm like, oh my god, like he was there for her when she did whatever she did to get like arrested, and you know he tried to have like a cute moment with her. They couldn't even be kinky without getting killed. So I was like so annoyed, and I'm literally bawling.
Yeah,
and then I keep reading, and I'm like, give me my tears back, Karin.
You fucking loser. I know. Well, I guess we will see next week. Let's see. I have the chapters written down.
And we want to know you guys. Like, let us know what you were thinking when you started reading it. You know, what your guesses are. And if you've read it, don't tell me what it is.
No, seriously, do not tell us. And yes, let us know if you think we're like onto something or not. We will be reading part 3 to chapter 11 for next week's episode. So we'll see you here on Wednesday. Amanda, do you want to plug our socials, honey?
Please make sure to follow us on TikTok. We do go live a lot now, so definitely follow us. And then we're also on Instagram at Book Please Podcast. So both Book Please Podcast, TikTok and Instagram. And then we also made a Facebook group.
Yes,
so it's Book Please Booklets. So please join. It's good. It's so much fun. Like we want to talk banter, books, like everything. So
everything that we'll be talking about here, and like it'll be like a real book club community. Girl talk, book talk. Meet us in the Booklets group on Facebook.